Alright, got a 98 Toyota 4Runner. This thing's got a vibration under acceleration, and I've already narrowed it down to a bad universal joint on the drive shaft. So let's take a look at that right now. Alright, so when you're driving under acceleration, this thing is vibrating, and if you look real carefully right there, zoom in, you can see that this thing's super worn. So let's see. Yeah, see that? That's no good. So the plan of attack, I'm going to remove these 4 bolts here. I'm going to mark this with white out, and then I'm going to just remove it here without having to drop the whole drive shaft. We're also going to mark this with white out because it only goes on one way. When we reinstall it, hopefully the circuit fitting comes out, because it makes it a little easier to push that back in. Alright, so I got this on the vise. It moves in this direction, but actually does not move in this direction. So it's crazy that this thing was even driving as well as it was. So I watched a video on how to do this, and they use this tool here in order to push the these end caps out. So I'm going to push it this way and get the end cap out on the bottom, and push it back through and get this end cap out. But first I gotta undo all these circ clips. There's a circ clip for each one, 4 of them total. So we're gonna do that right now. Alright, so I used that tool to push it through, but it's not through all the way. So what I'm going to do is take a socket, hit it until it bottoms out, and then hopefully I can get that out with some channel locks. Well, after some considerable fighting, I finally used vice grips to clamp onto it, and I just worked this thing back and forth while applying pressure in an upward direction, and it eventually worked its way off. All these needle bearings are just shot. It's pretty wild. But I'm gonna work on pushing the rest of these things out. Actually, I gotta switch vices because this vice broke. So let's work on that now. So the cup here on the other side ended up falling through, and I had a real hard time trying to line it back up to push it back out the other direction, and I spent a lot of time trying to get it lined up. But eventually I just gave up on that, and I started to use the cutoff wheel and just cut the corner off, and that actually worked like a charm. I was able to just get the yoke right out. Alright, well, I finally got this out of here. I accidentally let this drop through the bottom, and then I couldn't start it back the other way using the puller. So I just ended up cutting this corner off, and then I was able to weasel this guy out. But this should just push out now since there's no cups blocking the range of motion. So let's work on that now. Well, that's why I was making all that noise and vibration. The needle bearings are almost completely gone. That was a pain in the butt, but I'm gonna clean up the old parts and get the new part in. And here's a look at what the new part is supposed to look like. You can see all the needle bearings in there, and it comes with new C-clips. Okay, so as you can see, I pushed down the little cup, and I used the C-clip to measure the gap that I need. I'm gonna hit this in, and I'm gonna flip around to the other side, and then do the rest. Like a 5-year-old.
Whoa!
Oh, that's why I'm holding it.
Roll right on.
That was my finger. Alright, well, that was not the easiest job, but this thing is assembled and ready to go back in. Alright, got this thing installed. Man, once it's back together, it's pretty straightforward. Just 4 bolts, 4 nuts, and it slides right into here. I kept the Zerk fitting off until I slid it all the way in. It kind of makes it a little easier to slide in because the air has a place to go. And then greased it. Now this puppy's ready to go. Thanks for watching.